warm welcome to Pension Matters, the pension awareness program where we teach you how to save against the rainy days. That is, after you might have put 35 years in service or attained the age of 50. My name is Princess Rabi Ibrahim, and I'm so glad to have you join us on today's episode of the program. Today, we'll be discussing micro pension, which is very important and vital in the pension industry. For details of this and more, stay with us as the program will continue shortly after this timeout.
Do you know there is a new pension scheme in Nigeria? It is mandatory, it is contributory, it is fully funded, based on individual retirement savings account. Under the supervision of the National Pensions Commission, the new pension scheme guarantees lifelong financial independence for every citizen of Nigeria in public or private employment. PENCOM says it's a new dawn. Call the National Pensions Commission now or log on to www.pencom.gov.ng for further details. PENCOM, your contribution counts.
Welcome back. The program is Pension Matters. And like I said earlier, today we'll be discussing micro pension. That is the inclusion of the informal sector into the contributory pension scheme. Before we go to that, let's see what is trailing in the pension industry with Adanze Okorocha. Ada, is over to you.
Thank you very much, Princess. Hello, viewers. This is Pension Trade segment. I am Adanze Okorocha. On our story today, PFS invest fund in federal government bonds. The Chairman Pension Fund Operators Association of Nigeria (PENOP), Mr. E. Longe, assures Nigerians that 70% of the 5.3 trillion pension funds has been deposited into various government bonds, treasury bills, and infrastructure across the country. Mr. Longe says that the associations take exemption to unfounded allegation by few that the association is doing contrary to these claims. Next on our story today, Federal government approves 50 billion naira for 2016 retiree workers. At a media briefing in Lagos, Mrs. Chinelo Anoho Amas, the Director General of the National Pension Commission (PENCOM), says that the government has approved 50 billion naira out of the 91 billion naira needed to pay for the 2016 retirees. However, she says that the current outstanding accrued right will be increased when 2016 budget is made known. The PENCOM boss attributes the growth in pension deficit to the financial challenges facing the country, but assures that all outstanding payments will be sorted out as soon as possible. And lastly, pension operators to invest in transport sector. Mr. E. Longe, President, Pension Fund Operators Association of Nigeria (PENOP), believes that pension funds can be invested in real estate, roads, bridges, aviation and water system as obtained in the developed economies. He added that this would require the development of products along the line on how to deliver better infrastructure by the government and all agencies concerned. He says that as soon as this is done, the pension industry will be ready to assess and invest in them, stressing that the industry is heading in the right direction. Well, viewers, this is the much we can take on pension trade today. Let's get back to Princess.
Thank you very much, Adanze, for telling us what has been trailing in the pension industry this week. Viewers, you're on to Pension Matters. And now it's time for Up Close segment. In our Up Close segment today, we'll be discussing the activities of the Micro Pension Department of the National Pension Commission. And to do that with me is Mr. Polycarp Anyanwu. Mr. Polycarp, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Nice to have you.
Thank you.
We've been hearing about micro pension all the time, and then a lot of our viewers do not know what micro pension is all about. So can you just tell us what is micro pension?
Well, I'll try to describe it where the layman could easily understand. Micro pension is a new initiative of the National Pension Commission, which targets persons that are either self-employed or having 2 or less number of employees in the organizations, bringing them into the contributory pension system. These individuals fall into the informal sector, the way we call it.
Right.
Informal in the sense that, okay, they've not been fully captured into the government scheme of things, you know. So and under this informal sector, you know, you have our barbers, our mechanics, our electricians,
Yes.
our actors and actresses, you know. There are so many varied types of persons in the informal sector. So we're trying to reach out to these persons and encourage them to save to prevent old age poverty.
I like what you call micro-pension. From the explanation you're giving now, I think the Nigerian public will be craving for this micro-pension to come into practice so they can be part of it. That's by the way. Now, in the case of this informal sector, that is micro-pension, how will it work out?
Yes, although we are still trying to finalize the guidelines.
Okay.
And before we finalize the guidelines, we're also reaching out to these informal sector groups. And one thing that you need to know is that these informal sector persons are not as informal as we are thinking.
Exactly.
A whole lot of them, you have associations for mechanics, you have for barbers. If you want to pump your tire and you stop at the roadside, and you ask him how much is, the guy says it's 50 naira. You think, oh no, he has increased his price. You go to the other adjoining street and you ask another person there, and he tells you it's 50 naira. And you start wondering, how come all of you now have changed your price uniformly at the same time? These folks are also well organized. That's what we've realized.
Exactly.
A whole lot of them are into one union or the other. Okay, so we are going to approach them through the unions.
Exactly.
We also realize that a whole lot of them are also independent. A whole lot of persons are just working for themselves.
How do you think the micro-pension will fit into this contributory pension scheme?
Oh, incidentally, the revised PRA 2014,
Yes.
Section 2, Subsection 3, brings in individuals, self-employed individuals, or organizations employing persons less than 3 into the contributory pension scheme.
Yes.
The only caveat is it just mentions that they will come in under the guidelines to be given by the National Pension Commission, which is my job in the commission to come out with this guideline that will bring these persons into the contributory pension scheme. But as for the legal framework is already provided there in the section, at section 2, subsection 3 of the Pension Reform Act 2014.
I can't wait for this guideline to be out, because a lot of these people, the informal sector, they're already craving to be part of this pension.
We understand that, and in the way we operate in the commission, we are consultative. We don't force things on people.
Exactly.
Because these informal sector people, apart from just that, okay, if you pull funds together, it will assist the economy in terms of maybe infrastructure and some other things that you can use pension funds for. But I've given you 2 examples of persons who, if they had access to some form of micro-pension, it would have reduced the incidence of old age poverty.
That is true.
So that is our concern, and we want to get it right. That's why we've now rushed to see guidelines out. But by and large, before the end of the year, persons should be able to start registering in the micro-pension scheme.
Viewers, they're on to pension matters. And today, I'm discussing with the head of micro-pension department of the National Pension Commission. He's taking us into the activities of that department. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, he will give us more insight into the activities of the micro-pension department of the National Pension Commission.
Do you know there is a new pension scheme in Nigeria? It is mandatory, it is contributory, it is fully funded, based on individual retirement savings account. Under the supervision of the National Pensions Commission, the new pension scheme guarantees lifelong financial independence for every citizen of Nigeria in public or private employment. PENCOM says it's a new dawn. Call the National Pensions Commission now or log on to www.pencom.gov.ng for further details. PENCOM, your contribution counts.
Welcome back. The program is Pension Matters. Mr. Nyango, before the break, I was going to ask you, what is going to drive this micro-pension? Are there mechanism or apparatus set in place to drive this micropension?
Yes, thank you very much. That's essentially why the National Pension Commission has set up the micropension department.
Okay.
And also the industry as a whole, we have a consultative forum with the industry operators.
Okay.
And there is a joint action committee also working on this. So the guidelines is in the works as we are talking. We are fine-tuning them. We are consulting with the stakeholders. Even the persons that we've classed under micropensions, we are reaching out to them, wanting to know their preferences. We're also scanning the environment, looking at the payment systems, discussing with CBN and all other persons that are involved to understand how easy we could make it for persons that want to come into micropensions to be able to do so.
So who stands to benefit from the micropension?
A lot of stakeholders are going to benefit from this. First and foremost is persons in the informal sector who before now nobody encouraged them to do anything to save for their old age in terms of pension.
Exactly.
You know, the usual thing is that people think that pension is only for persons working for government.
Government, yes.
You know, but with this 2014 Act, we are saying no, the persons in the informal sector working for themselves and very small enterprises can also benefit from pension. They can contribute. So they are going to benefit. Then when you have a pool of funds, pension funds in the economy will also benefit from it, just like they're benefiting from the trillions of naira that has accumulated in the contributory pension scheme.
So when they get to know that this thing will even accrue some interest, they will be very, very eager to benefit.
And I tell you, not sounding to be revealing everything ahead of time, when you have a pool of persons, you have what you call economies of scale.
Yes.
You could negotiate better with health insurance. You could negotiate better with life insurance. Yes, persons in the informal sector can now also benefit from these things, even without paying anything or with paying just very little for them, because you have economies of scale. Maybe you have like 10 million people approaching the health insurance that come, we want to register persons for this service. So you could now negotiate better and get good deals for them. And also, when persons contribute under the CPS, you know, there is what we call minimum pension guarantee.
Exactly.
The guidelines too are also going to be released. So if you contribute enough under the micropension scheme, you could qualify for minimum pension guarantee, which means whether your money is exhausts or it doesn't exhaust, as long as you're living, you keep having pension in one way or the other.
Just like the formal sector, you need to open a retirement savings account. In this micropension, would they still need to open retirement savings account?
Yes, essentially, you have to open a retirement savings account.
Okay.
But the method of opening it is what is in the making now.
Okay.
But we are looking at having what I call multi-channel ways of coming in.
Okay.
You know, like I said before, we are scanning the environment to know what technologies are possible. How do we uniquely identify these persons? You know what? So the whole idea is when we roll out, we are rolling out in an easy manner for them, because persons in the market selling, they don't have time.
Exactly.
So they will deal with something that won't really take them much energy or effort or much distraction from their duties, you know, to participate in. So we understand all this.
Exactly.
And we are interacting with them to know how best to roll out these guidelines.
Are there likely challenges, in the run of this micropension in the contributory pension system?
Definitely there are challenges to almost everything in life, you know. The first big challenge is the literacy level about pensions. You know, the literacy level in the sense that, like I even mentioned earlier, pension is viewed as for people working for government. But we're trying to now tell persons that no, it's not only for persons working for government.
Yes.
That you as an individual can save for your own pensions in future. You know, so literacy is part of the biggest challenge. So I believe even what we're doing now is part of it, creating the awareness, talking to persons. We are going ahead, engaging the unions, talking to them, even ahead of releasing the guidelines, telling them, okay, this is what we're planning to do, this is the service we want to render to you, and get a feedback from them. You know, some have already know what it looks like and are earnestly and eagerly waiting for, you know, the system to start for them to participate. But some other ones are in the dark. And you know, Nigeria is 770 something local governments, and we're supposed to have some plan to educate these persons.
All the local government.
Yes, to educate these persons and talk to them about micro pensions, because that's where most of them are located, in those rural areas away from the major cities. So it's all in our plans to handle the literacy issue. Then the second challenge is the issue of a unique identity of Nigerians. It's always been a problem. However, to the glory of God, the country is making progress along those lines. The mobile phone operators have, you know, captured some form of biometrics of persons. In fact, the phone numbers are somehow unique, and most of them carry along the biometric and at least the picture of the person that owns the phone line.
Exactly.
Then there is the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, that has also registered most Nigerians. You know. Then there are BVN, bank verification number, you know, databases that are there. And the good thing now is there is a directive of the federal government that all these databases should be consolidated with NIMC, National Identity Management Commission. And I was informed that NIMC has started consolidating with at least one of another database that I mentioned. So we are looking forward seriously to that time that everything is together. If I want to uniquely identify a Nigerian, I'll just refer to NIMC. Maybe the person gives me his phone number, I'll pass it to NIMC. NIMC says, yes, I know this person, he's this person, he's that, and this is his biometric. I can now verify against him. Then second challenge is the mobile payment systems.
Okay.
Like I said, these persons are not patient. They are busy. They don't want to leave their trade to go anywhere. So if it's possible for them to send some codes on their phone and their contribution is made, then it will be nice.
It makes it easier.
So
easier for the contributor and easier for the industry.
Good. And you know, we also want to have to avoid giving persons cash, because when you give persons cash, you can never tell the character of all employees. Somebody can go here, collect all the monies, and he starts working for this PF, and off he goes. You know, so we want to avoid as much as possible cash collection or cash payments under the system. So we have that challenge of mobile payment systems, and we're engaging CBN and all the relevant authorities to see where we could meet in between, so that persons can easily send codes here and there using mobile money in one way or the other and credit their retirement savings accounts.
Mr. Ramos, thank you so very much for coming to the program. You've educated us, you've enlightened our viewers on this issue of micro pension. So thank you for coming to the program.
Thank you very much.
Well, when next we call you, try to oblige us.
Definitely, I'll be happy to come.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Viewers, you're on to pension matters, and I've been discussing with the head of Department of Micro Pension of National Pension Commission, Mr. Polycarp Anyanwu. He has been able to throw more insight into the operation of the department and how the micro pension will function. Now it's time for pension education with Mr. Patrick Igbo.
Thank you very much, Princess. Hello, viewers. Welcome to this week's pension education segment. My name is Igbo Patrick. This week, we shall be looking at another mode of withdrawing from the contributory pension scheme. This time around, it affects the next of kin, particularly those who have lost their loved ones that are holders of a pension account. The next of kin is actually entitled to the balance remaining in the retirement savings account once the account holder is no longer active or in existence. The process of accessing the fund is what I'm going to explain to you today. For those of us who have lost our loved ones who were RSA holders, we can still have access to the retirement savings account to draw in totality the amount that is left in the account. And once this is done, the account ceases to exist as it is closed, and the balance is transferred to the estate account of the next of kin. Now, for you to be able to do this, the would-be beneficiary is expected to approach the pension fund administrator of the affected or the deceased account holder. And there are a list of requirements that are expected to be provided by the next of kin, which include, but not the least, a letter of administration from a court notifying the PFE that he or she is the beneficiary. You're also supposed to provide an evidence to show that the account holder is no longer in existence, either a death certificate or you show an obituary, something to show that the person affected or the person who owes the account is no longer alive. You're also to provide other means of identification for yourself, a passport photograph for the next of kin, and also that of the deceased beneficiary. You're also meant to open an account referred to as an estate account in the name of the deceased relative or account holder. This account is where the amount that is left in the retirement savings account will be paid into once the processing has been completed. Once you have met the requirements as provided by the pension fund administrator, the pension fund administrator in turn seeks an approval from the pension commission, and once this approval is given, the money is released in totality into the new estate account of the next of kin for he or she to be able to have access to. The disease benefit processing is also the same for missing person or people who are no longer or who could not be found as a result of either lost as a result of maybe wandering or at various ways people get missing. But it's also treated in that light. And there should be evidence to show that the person in question, who is the account holder, is no longer active or visible to be able to continue with the process. Thank you very much, viewers. It's been wonderful being with you this week. Goodbye.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick, for that pension education. You spoke so well on the issue of NOKs, that is the next of kin. Viewers, on that note, we've come to the end of our program for today. That's our package of pension matters for this week. We do hope you tune in next week, same station, same time, for another exciting episode of Pension Matters. Until then, I am Princess Rabi Ibrahim, and I urge you to enjoy your weekend. God bless you.